2 nights in a row where it's entirely possible I'll be able to get through 2 sets of El Quattro's NGC tour. However, there were high thin clouds, although there's an old saying, it goes, let's see, there's an old saying the shipman used to say, oh, red clouds by night, sailor's delight, red skies by warning, sailor take warning. We did have red skies. There are some high thin clouds drifting overhead. We may be impacted by them, but let's get this going because we need to finish up everything by the winter solstice. We are going to start our NGC 600-649 tour this evening. So here we have our start at 5-second exposure time of the Messier 33, also known as NGC 598. Here we are hoping to see, besides some transiting linears, slow walkers, Galaxy NGC 600 in Cetus, magnitude 12.4, largest 3.7. I do believe we're seeing it even at 30x. 3.7 by 3.6 arc-minute size spiral with a bar, lowercase cd, and an angularity, which is 80 million light years distant, so roughly about 60,000 light years in diameter. Let's go ahead and do our zoomage to 50%, or, ooh, we're getting some extensions here. I'm not happy with that. Hopefully, we didn't have any problems whatsoever with tracking last night. I don't understand why we might be having it now. Let's go ahead and push it up. We're at right ascension 133.05 with a declination of -7 degrees, 18 minutes, 44 seconds. You can see the angularity around this magnitude 12.4 galaxy. Here you are very unlikely to see NGC 601, a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 16.1, 0.4 by 0.4 arc minutes. We, of course, are getting a double power line diffraction, and yes, it is diffraction because I can see the street light off in the distance with the same color. Pushing it up to 75x, we are still getting a little bit of distension in the stars. I did have a temporary power outage when I plugged in the ZWO imager, and perhaps I have to look for that in the future. NGC 601 is a galaxy in Cetus, as mentioned. Magnitude 16.1, 0.4 by 0.4 compact, 241 million light years distant. Yes, it is pretty compact, maybe 30,000 light years in diameter. RA 1 hour, 33 minutes, 6 seconds with a declination of -12, 12:32. Okay, we're back down to the Triangulum galaxy. We started at about NGC 592. We picked up like some emissions nebula plus a very immense star cluster. Now we're pushing off to the north and to the east for NGC 604, Nebula and Triangulum. 2 arc minutes in size. This is an emissive nebula. It's incredibly brilliant, 2.8 million light years distant. Right ascension is 1 hour, 34:32 with a declination of +30 degrees, 47 minutes, 2 seconds. We are not getting as much distension here, but not a particularly good view, but I do believe this is NGC 604. All right, NGC 605 is a galaxy in Andromeda. Magnitude 12.9, 2.2 by 2.1 arc minutes. Let's look for it. I'm still sort of seeing something right about here. Pressing it up to our 150x view. This is probably our view. I'm going to probably have to play with the focus because I did set it up perfectly last night, but it's not looking very good right now. This is a lenticular class galaxy, 233 million light years distant, probably about the size of the Andromeda galaxy. A lenticular spiral, right ascension 1 hour, 35 minutes, 2 seconds with a declination of +41, 14:52. Back at NGC 605 after playing with the focuser. Stars are looking a little better. I've got 19 stacked with 76 ignored, 19 stacks. Stacking usually means it's going well, so let's go on to our next study. I think I captured all the data anyway, even though we're not seeing the galaxy. Here we are looking for NGC 606. It's a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 13.4, 1.4 by 1.2 arc-minute spiral with a bar and lowercase c. Boy, it's an immature galaxy, but it's 445 million light years distant, perhaps as large as 200,000 light years in diameter, and I am not seeing any traces of this. We'll have to go ahead and assume it's somewhere in the field or that it's being blocked, somewhat diminished by passing overhead clouds. We're at RA 13450, declination plus 212503. Well, I diagnosed the problem there. NGC 606 was being done at 0.1 seconds exposure. We needed to boost it back up to 5 after setting the focus. Here's our galaxy. Magnitude 13.4, 1.4 by 1.2, spiral with a bar, lowercase c, 445 million light years distant, right ascension 1 hour, 34 minutes, 50 seconds, declination 212503. We are getting a fairly decent view of a 13.4 magnitude galaxy that has a nice annular frontier. Okay, NGC 608, a galaxy in triangulum. I think it's quite apparent on the screen. There's actually several. Magnitude 13.2, smallish, 0.8 by 0.6 arc-minutes, spiral with a lowercase ab, 229 million light years distant. Right ascension 135.28 with a declination of plus 33 degrees, 39.24. Two fairly well-matched galaxies are visible. I believe this to be the one we're looking for, NGC 608. Okay, after some skippage for too far, too south or north, we ended up at NGC 613. Galaxy in Sculptor, magnitude 10.1, 5.2 by 4.3 arc-minutes, spiral bar, lowercase bc, 67 million light years distant, RA 13418, and the reason we're not seeing it, it's minus 29 degrees, 25 minutes, and 7 seconds. I'll push it up just a little bit in case it does turn up in the field, possibly, and we'll move on. We're off to NGC 614, a galaxy in Triangulum. It's also NGC 627, magnitude 12.7, 1.4 by 1.4 lenticular, 234 million light years distant, maybe 80,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 135 to 52, declination plus 33, 40, 43. It's the second galaxy in this pairing we saw earlier. And it looks like focus brought things back into order on the screen. We're now off to NGC 615, a galaxy in Cetus. Magnitude 11.6, 3.4 by 1.4 arc-minutes, spiral with a lowercase b. I think you can see it right there. 83 million light years distant, puts it at about 70,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 135.05, declination minus 720.26. And there is our view. Okay, right now we're having a view, hopefully, of NGC 617. I do believe it's this faintly right there. It's a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 15, probably 14, visual 0.5 by 0.5, spiral with a lowercase ab, 539 million light years distant, means it's probably about 80,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension is 1 hour 34:02 with a declination of minus 9 degrees, 46 minutes, and 26 seconds. Here's that 250 view, possibly this faint little fluff ball right there on the middle of the screen. Here we should be seeing NGC 620, galaxy further north in Andromeda, possibly right there. It's magnitude 14, 1 by 0.9 arc-minute compact, 116 million light years distant, maybe 35,000 light years across. RA 136.59 with a declination of plus 42, 19, and 19 seconds. Not a bad view for me and for you. Here we're looking for NGC 621, and I do think we can make it out. So magnitude 12.7, those are usually visible even at 30x. However, if we put it up to 150, we start to see some structure. It's looking fairly nice and bright. It's 1.9 by 1.8 arc-minute spiral with a bar and a lenticular class, 235 million light years distant, puts it at about 150,000 light years in diameter with a right ascension of 1 hour, 36 minutes, 49 seconds and a declination of plus 35, 30, 43 seconds. Off to NGC 622, Galaxy in Cetus. Magnitude 12.9, we can see it there on the screen, 1.8 by 1.3. Arc minutes in size, spiral with a bar, and lowercase bc, 2.5 times removed from the lenticular, so a fairly immature galaxy. 233 million light years distant, puts it probably at about 120,000 light years in diameter. We're at 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 0 seconds with a declination of 0 degrees plus 39 minutes and 49 seconds. Not a bad view. We're seeing some decent extension on NGC 622. Off to NGC 624, Galaxy in Cetus, a little further south, magnitude 14. We have a flyby. This galaxy, which is probably right there, but it could be this one as well, is 200. It's a spiral with a lowercase b, 262 million light years distant based on its redshift, and probably somewhere around 110,000 light years in diameter. RA 1 hour, 35 minutes, 51 seconds, and a declination of minus 10 degrees and 11 seconds. Pushing it up, we get a view of a faint galaxy here, missing a core, barely has a core, and a brighter one there. This is magnitude 14. I can't be sure on that. We'll have to consult with the expert, Steve Gottlieb, on the manana. Okay, let's start off with a 30x view of this beautiful galaxy here. It's got a nice star-like core with extensions all around. We're pretty much face on. It's a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 9.4, 10 by 9.4 arc minutes in size. Oh, we're beginning to resolve spiral arms. Notice it's a class spiral C, so it's very similar to the Triangle Galaxy. However, it is 35 million light years distant as opposed to almost 3 million light years distant. It's at right ascension 1 hour, 36 minutes, 41 seconds. Declination plus 15 degrees, 47 minutes, and 0 seconds. You probably have guessed that this galaxy here that we're looking at is a Messier class galaxy, and it probably would not have missed Messier 74. I'm going to allow it to continue to develop a little bit while I go and grab the next study for our perusal. Okay, our next one will be NGC 631. I want to note that I haven't had to play with the histograms tonight, just like last night, which usually means the sky is pretty consistent in terms of its transparency. What we're looking for here is NGC 631, a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 13.3. There's certainly something there, but I would suspect it's further down given the fact most things have fallen in a little bit below the center and off to the right in the past. Let's go on up to 150x. Let's assume this is our study. Magnitude 13.3, 1.7 by 1.5 arc-minute sized elliptical, 253 million light years distant, probably 120 to 30,000 light years in diameter. RA 13647 with a declination of plus 5 degrees, 50 minutes, and 6 seconds. Back down to that 150x view. Okay, not far from our last study, in fact, maybe just a click, is NGC 632. That's probably this one right here. Brighter. It's a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 12.3, 1.5 by 1.2 arc minutes, lenticular spiral, 141 million light years distant, so smaller, maybe 80,000 light years in diameter or less. RA, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 17 seconds. Declination plus 5, 52, 38. Let's make sure we get that 150x view in, and that we have. Off to NGC 634. And we're looking for probably this edge-on galaxy right here. Nice and sharp. Galaxy and triangular. Magnitude 13. Yes, indeed. 2.1 by 0.6 arc minutes, probably near something like a fourth or fifth magnitude star. It is a spiral with a lowercase a, 218 million light years distant, puts it at about 130,000 light years in diameter. RA is 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 18 seconds with a declination of plus 35 degrees, 21 minutes, 53 seconds. Here we have it. Okay, we've gone seriously south to NGC 635, a galaxy in southern Cetus. Magnitude 15.3. Don't expect much here, except there's probably visual it might be right there or there. Visual magnitude might be around 14.5. It's a spiral with a lowercase b, which typically means about 0.7 magnitudes brighter visual over photographic, so 14.5. Galaxy is very distant, 614 million light years distant, but quite small. Probably no larger than our Milky Way at 90 to 100,000 light years in diameter. RA is 138.17 and declination is minus 22, 55, 44. So there's our look. Good luck figuring out where it is on the screen. Here we should easily be able to make out NGC 636. It's a galaxy in Cetus, and I do believe right there. Magnitude 11.5, 2.8 by 2 arc-minute elliptical class 1, 89 million light years distant, so probably no more than 50,000 light years in diameter. RA 1 hour, 39 minutes, 6 seconds with a declination of minus 7, 30, 45. We are getting some pretty decent sky, despite the clouds that were present at sunset. Our next study, NGC 638, a galaxy in Pisces. I believe it's right about there. Let's see if it matches the data. Magnitude 13.8, 0.8 by 0.5 arc minutes. Spiral with a lowercase b. Doesn't seem to have much of a core to it, does it? 156 million light years distant means it's probably no more than about 40,000 light years in diameter. RA 1 hour 39.37, declination plus 7, 13 seconds. Pushing it up, we're getting a pretty good view. Now the core is coming out. It looks like it's cross-hatched a little bit. That's peculiar. Anyway, NGC 638. Once again, we've gone deep south. For NGC 639, in this case, galaxy in Sculptor. Magnitude 14.1. We're not going to get a sight of this, I don't think, at all. 1 by 0.2 arc minutes, so if we do see it, it'll be kind of edgy on. Does appear to be something right about there. It's 261 million light years distant, puts it about 70,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension is 138.58 with a declination of minus 29 degrees, 55 minutes, and 30 seconds. Another 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and I would not have dipped the scope this far south. JIC. Heading further north once again to Cetus for a galaxy NGC 640. Magnitude 15, 0.7 by 0.5 arc minutes spiral with a lowercase a, so it should be more like magnitude 14 visual. 334 million light years distant means it's probably about 90,000 light years in diameter. The galaxy is probably somewhere here, maybe this one there. RA is 1 hour, 39 minutes, 25 seconds with a declination of minus 9 degrees, 24 minutes, and 5 seconds. Let's make sure we've had that 150x view, and we have. Deep down in Sculptor once again for another galaxy, magnitude 12.9 this time, NGC 642, 2 by 1.1 arc minutes, spiral with a bar and lowercase c. 262 million light years distant, has a right ascension of 139.06 and a declination of minus 29.54.54. It's probably in that same group of our last galaxy that we went down and just dipped down into Sculptor for. Off to NGC 645, a galaxy in Pisces. Ooh, nice little edgy on one. Not much of a core. Magnitude 12.6, 2.6 by 1.2 arc minutes, so not quite edge on. Spiral with a bar, lowercase b, 148 million light years distant. Has a right ascension of 140.08 and a declination of plus 5 degrees, 43 minutes, and 35 seconds. This one's probably a little bit larger than our own Milky Way, maybe 100,000 light years in diameter, pushing our magnification up, and there is our 150x full pixelated view. Here we're hoping to have NGC 647. It's a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14, 1.5 by 1.1 arc minute sized lenticular galaxy. 569 million light years distant. So it's probably about 225,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension, 1 hour 39:56, declination minus 9:14:32. Pushing it up, there's our view. Possibly this one, though. Lenticular. That's a bit bright, however. Magnitude 14. We'll have to check it out with Steve Gottlieb online at adventuresindeepspace.com. Okay, we're about to wrap it up with NGC 648 and potentially a 649. Galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 14, 1.1 by 0.45 arc minutes, lenticular, 472 million light years distant, puts it about 160,000 light years in diameter. RA 1 hour 38 minutes 39 seconds with a southerly declination of minus 1749.54. Given that aspect ratio, it may very well be the galaxy I've just positioned in the middle of the field. Let's check for our full zoomage view, and there we have it. And yes, Virginia, there was an NGC 649. Galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 15. Spiral with a lowercase a. 333 million light years distant. Right ascension 140.07 with a declination of minus 9 degrees, 16 minutes, and 20 seconds. Pushing it up to our 150x view. This is quite probably our magnitude 15 minus NGC 649. Previously, this other galaxy was the one we may have viewed. These two seem to be paired up. Actually, a scope moved quite a way, so I'd have to do a little more research on that. So let's have a final view of something this evening. Maybe that Messier 70, I believe it was 77, on a longer exposure. Okay, this is that original view of Messier 74 in Pisces, and it was done at 5 seconds. And I'm going to give it a couple of stacks. We've had 3 already. Let's give it a couple more. And then I'm going to go to a 10-second exposure. So there we have 5 stacks, and we should have a 6th. Okay, let's go to 10 seconds. Okay, 1 10-second exposure. We'll push it back down to 75x, my favorite balance between what we can see and the aesthetics of the view. We've had 1 ignored view for some reason, but we've stacked 2, and that was probably just on the switch over. I'm not going to be able to go as long as 6 stacks because we're going to be taking longer exposure times, but there is our 3rd stack at 10 seconds exposure. And we will move on to 30 seconds next. Now this is a single stack at 30 seconds. I'm not sure if it's much of an improvement over multiple stacks at 10 seconds. But let's give it a few more seconds so we can get a second stack and watch as the background sky darkens up and the galaxy's spiral arms pop out. There we go. A little brighter image there. So let's go. We've got 2 stacks in it at 30 seconds. Why not try at least 1 or 2 And I'll wander off and make myself a hot cup of tea, and we'll see what it looks like in a few minutes before I carpe noctem out on the NGC 600-649 series. I'm going to go wait 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for another image stack, and we should have it now. Well, we only got one stack. 2 were ignored while I was out, so 60 seconds is probably just a bit too much. We're not finding, what did I just do here? We're not finding stackable triangulated stars at 60 seconds, so we're going to call this Carpe Noctem, the NGC 600-649 series, and move on to the 650-699 series, and be thankful that atmospheric river that's flowing through Washington State didn't descend further south into Central Oregon.